Matovu, come from this week's Torah portion from Balak. It is, as we're going to read, Bilam, the prophet of the non-Jews, comes out and is sent by the king Balak to curse the Israelites. And he goes up to the edge of the mountain and looks over the plains of Moab and sees the Israelites. And he tries to curse them, and all he can say is, Matovu ahalecha Adonai mishkanotecha Yaakov. How lovely are your dwelling place, O Jacob, your houses, O Israel. I think there's something really beautiful that the first words we say when we come into a synagogue are the words of a non-Jew not sure what to do. Because all of us, when we come into synagogue, can feel a little bit out of sorts and a little bit out of place. And yet, somehow, we manage to find ourselves blessed. So I hope that wherever you've come from and however unstable or uncomfortable you might be feeling, you come away feeling blessed. Let's read together on the bottom of page 129. Source of light, of truth, and of the impulse within us towards justice and mercy, may this hour of worship be one of vision and inspiration. Help us to find knowledge by which to live. Let the words we speak enter our hearts and influence our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in search of you, or in need of comfort and consolation. May the offering of their hearts be acceptable to you, and may the prayers we utter here bear fruit in acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. We'll read responsively on page 130. With what shall I approach the Eternal One?
How shall I worship the God of heaven?
Shall I come before God with burnt offerings?
Or with yearly calves?
Will God be pleased with thousands of rams?
Or with 10,000 rivers of oil?
Should I give my firstborn for my transgressions?
The fruit of my body for the sins of my soul?
People tell you what is good, but what does the Eternal One require of you?
Only to do justly and love mercy, and walk humbly with your God.
These are the actions which bring benefit here and now, but whose value can be measured only in the light of eternity. Honouring one's mother and father, acts of love and kindness, diligent pursuit of knowledge and wisdom, hospitality to strangers, visiting the sick, enabling bride and groom to rejoice, consoling the bereaved, praying with sincerity, and making peace where there is strife. And the study of Torah leads to the Lord.
Eternal God, may the words of Torah taste sweet to us and to all Israel, that we and our children and all the children of your people may come to know you by studying Torah. We praise you, O God, teacher of your people Israel.
Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam baruch hu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, u'mehulal b'fi amo, משובח ומפאר בלשון חסידיו ועבודיו. בשפחות ובזמירות, נגדל לך ונמליך לך, מלכנו יחי העולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מלך מהולל בתשבחות. We'll continue again responsively on 132. Sing for joy to the Eternal One, you who are righteous.
For the upright do well to give praise.
Give thanks to the Eternal One with the lyre.
Make music to God with the harp.
Sing to God a new song.
Play well with shouts of joy.
For God's word holds good.
God's every deed is done in faithfulness.
The Eternal One loves righteousness and justice.
The earth is full of God's kindness.
By the Eternal One's word, the heavens were made.
And all their hosts by the breath of God's mouth.
At the divine command, the ocean waves rise.
Or gather instead in the waters of the deep.
Let all the earth revere the Eternal One.
All who dwell there stand in awe of God.
Whose spoken it was.
Who commanded and it stood firm.
How shall I sing of day and night, when it is God who formed it? How shall I sing of heaven and earth, when it is God who founded them? How shall I sing of mountains and hills, when it is God who planted them? How shall I sing of deserts and seas, when it is God who begot them? How shall I sing of earth and all her fullness, I shall sing of the one who fashioned them all, the one who is above them all. Of God, God alone, I shall sing.
So on page 1 through 4, I would like to teach you a new tune for this song. Even if you don't know the song very well, the chorus is very catchy. The words are Hallelujah, which means?
Praise the Lord.
Wonderful. Okay, so we'll start going and hopefully after a while you'll pick it up. Hallelujah, 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 El Bakosho, hallelujah, hallelujah, Bikia Uzo, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, big vorotav. Hallelujah, hallelujah, kerov kulo. Hallelujah, 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 b'tzeka shofar. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, benevel vechino. Hallelujah, 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 betov umachol. Hallelujah, hallelujah, beminim ve'ugav. Hallelujah, 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 b'tziltzalei shama. Hallelujah, hallelujah, b'tziltzalei truah. Kol hanshamatzeh hallelujah, kol hanshamatzeh hallelujah, kol haneshama tzeh hallelujah, hallelujah, kol haneshama tzeh hallelujah, hallelujah. In the middle of page 135, please stand. I think all these songs and all these psalms are really just getting us to build up for the Shema. And one of the things I think about when reading these is that often life feels tough, but on Shabbat, and in general really, life is supposed to be a joy. Where in Bereshit, God gives the earth to humanity and says, make use of it and enjoy it. And sometimes it's easy to lose sight of the fact that what we are here for is to have a good life. So with that in mind, we'll enter into the Shema on page 135. Yishtapach shimcha la'ad malkeinu, ha'el ha'melech ha'gadol v'ha'kadosh, b'shamayim u'va'aretz, ki lachana Adonai Eloheinu, v'Elohei avotenu, shiru shvacha, הלל וזמרה, ברכות והוראות, מעתה ועד עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני, הבוחר בשירי זמרה. Creator of all things. In your mercy you give light to the earth and all who live on it. and in your goodness you renew creation continually, day by day. How manifold are your works, O God! With wisdom have you made them all. The world is full of your creations. Your handiwork proclaims your praise. The radiant stars bear witness to your glory.
Praise you, O God, creator of light.
And we'll read together in English on page 136.
Great is your love for us, eternal God, and abundant your compassion. Our ancestors trusted in you, and you taught them the laws of life. So be gracious to us and teach us. Incline our hearts to hear your words, to know and understand, to learn and teach, and with love to uphold the truths of your Torah. Enlighten us with your teaching, make us faithful to your commandments, and wholehearted in the love and awe of your name. For in love you sung us to serve you and proclaim your unity. We praise you, O God. In love you have called your people Israel to serve you.
Please stand. Page 137. Shema. Oh, please. של כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ברוך של כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום בלבביך ושיננתם לבניך וריפאת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לתוצפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Please be seated. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי כי אתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאומים אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אמת ויציב וישר וקיים וטוב ויפה הדבר הזה עלינו לעולם ועד. אמת שאתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, מלכנו מלך אבותינו, יוצרנו סור ישועתנו, הועדנו ומצילנו מעולם הוא שמך, אין אלוהים זולתך. אמת אתה הוא ראשון ואתה הוא אחרון, ומבלעדיך אין לנו מושיע. ממצרים גאלתנו אדוני אלוהינו, ומבית עבדים הביאתנו. משה ומרים ובני ישראל לך ענו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם שירה חדשה של חוקי עולים, לשמך על שפת הים. יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו. Page 140 for the Amidah. And as we go into the Amidah is the stand and prayer. And it's really a time for personal reflections. I think people often feel under pressure to stand when everyone else stands, or sit when everyone else sits, and say the words that everyone else says. But in fact, this is a time for your own prayers. So feel free to sit or stand whenever and however you choose, and to take time with your own thoughts. Page 140. Adonai, Safatai Tifta, Ufia Gita Ilatecha. Eternal God, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasedim Tovim, Ve'koneh Hakol, Ve'zocher Chasei Avot ve'imahot, U'mevii gula לפני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומשיר ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומרית הגשם, מזריח השמש ומרית הטל. מחלחל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדומה לך, מלך מביט ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה. Trusting in you, we see life beyond death. We praise you, O God, source of eternal life. We sanctify your name on earth as in the prophet's vision. The hosts of heaven sing your praise above, for so it is written. God's glory fills the universe. From your concealment, majestic one, reveal yourself and rule over us, for you are our hope. ברית גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש. בשפך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. If you wish, you may be seated. Let's read together in the English at the bottom of page 142. You inspired our ancestors to hallow this day for your service. When upon its coming we pause to contemplate our life, we learn anew that we do not live by bread alone, but also by the spiritual nourishment we receive when we open ourselves to your influence. We thank you for the Sabbath day, for the opportunity it offers to enhance the quality of our lives. We thank you for its joy and for its peace. May our worship help us to take into our hearts its message of holiness and concentrate all our days by devotion to what is true, beautiful, and good. Satisfy us with your goodness, gladden us with your salvation, and purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, eternal one, let the holiness of your Sabbath enter our hearts, and may all Israel who hallow your name be exalted by its peace.
We praise you, O God, for the holiness of the Sabbath.
We will now enter into silent prayer from the top of page 144 up until you hear that song on the bottom of page 146. this week is the synagogue, which is on page 310. As a child, I was always told by my teachers to stop talking, that I talked too much. And in hindsight, I realised that I talked too much because I'm Jewish, and we do talk too much. I'm not saying that they were anti-Semitic, I'm just saying that it's a cultural thing. And in that very spirit, I would like to invite you to find a partner, find somebody near to you, and read together what's going on in this passage, and see what you think about it. What does synagogue mean to you? What do these words mean to you? So find somebody else in the synagogue and discuss with them. Yeah. So, I don't want to interrupt you all in your discussions, but if anyone has anything they'd like to feed back from their discussions, then you're very welcome to share any thoughts you've had. Go on.
Oh no, we were just talking about the move of our synagogue here to Stanmore and the difference that may have on the atmosphere and the style of building as well. So
yeah, how are you feeling about it?
well, we moved in 2011, so we'll move again. Go with the flow, as they say.
We changed the building to 2004.
That's right. Yes.
The only thing constant in life is change.
I mean, what was relevant for me in this passage was that obviously we have the Beit Knesset, the Beit Tefillah, and the Beit Midrash. And part of our discussions of Mosaic is, please God, when we move, is this new idea about what is it we're not providing in those three streams to attract a younger, unaffiliated people that don't want any of those three, who want something different. So it begs the question about where do you stop? What is a synagogue to all people? And what value if you're outside of the synagogue system? It's very relevant for us over this coming year or two.
Well, we've got to through the passage, but then we're going to think, is it really aimed at people who believe in God? And my personal thing is that the philosophy and the history of the Jews is fascinating, even if not always a believer. I find it wonderful to be a member of the community because I think it's very hard to be a Jew on one's own. I think just by being Jewish, the emphasis is on family, on community, on sharing, on giving, on learning how to accept. And we were talking together about how important the synagogue community is to us. Because really, as Adrian mentioned, it's a house of prayer, study and community. There's everything in the synagogue that one could possibly want if one is prepared to be part of it.
I was saying the same thing really, community, and those people that we've met over the years. Unfortunately some are no longer here, but we met other people, and just a sense of belonging to a community.
I also think that because we are a community, it teaches us to love as well to other communities. is, and it teaches us humanity, because we have a feeling for the one God, and the one God is responsible for everybody. So we mustn't just be inward looking, we must be outward looking as well. And I think that's what I've gained from the symbol.
I think it's a lovely note to end on. So may we all build a home for ourselves in which we can find strength, and for others that welcomes them in. And we'll turn to the Torah service now on page 481. Okay. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Gerlul Adonai Yitzi, Loromama Shemo Yachdav. Please be seated. So a quick check, where are we in the Torah?
Balak.
Fantastic. Who's Balak?
Friend of Balaam.
Yeah, fantastic. Who's Balaam?
Did you say he was an enemy of Israel?
That's right, yes.
Spies or something. Nuisance.
Yeah.
Well, you could say whoever he is, he makes a complete ass of himself.
Very good.
Got your fault in a heavy
So Balak is the king of Moab, and Bilam is the prophet of the non-Jews. And in this bit of the Torah, as Adrian's already alluded to, what happens? Can anyone remember? We're looking at an ass, a donkey. Do you know what happens?
He was told to curse and he couldn't curse.
That's right, fantastic. And who knew, first of all, that he wouldn't be able to do it?
It's the donkey.
That's right, his talking donkey. So we're going to read the part of the Torah with Balaam and his talking donkey. Those of you who were at the last service that I did know that I like to invite everybody up to bless the Torah. So if you, in the spirit of Balaam, if you would like to turn curses into blessings, or if you would like to feel blessed, please come up to bless the Torah. נא לעמוד כולם שרצו ברכה לברך את התורה.
Baruch Adonai HaMorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah
אל המלך העולם, אשר בחרנו מכל העמים, ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני, נותן התורה.
Amen. And please do feel free to stand and while we read. Don't feel obliged. Oh, sorry, we're in Numbers 22, 21 to 35. But I don't know what that is in the Sons, you know. Do we have lists anywhere?
Number 22.
I'm afraid I don't know what page of the Sons, you know. Has anyone found it?
915. Wait,
Sorry?
it starts at 915.
915.
Oh no, our translators.
So 915 in the song, you know.
Numbers 22.
In the JPSA Tanakh, it's page 245.
ויקום בלעם בבוקר, ויחבוש את אתונו, וילך עם שרי מואב. ויחר אף אלוהים, כי הולך הוא, ויתייצב מלאך אדוני בדרך, לשטן לו. והוא רוכב על אתונו, ושני נעריו עמו. ותרא האתון את מלאך אדוני ניצב בדרך, וחרבו שלופה בידו. ותט האתון מן הדרך, ותלך בשדה, ויח בלעם את האתון לכיתתה הדרך. ויעמוד מלאך אדוני במשועל הכרמים גדר מזה וגדר מזה. ותרא האתון את מלאך אדוני, ותלחץ אל הקיר, ותלחץ את רגל בלעם אל הקיר, ויוסף לכיכתה. ויוסף מלאך אדוני עבור, ויעמוד במקום שר, אשר אין דרך לנטות ימין או שמאל. ותרא האתון את מלאך אדוני, ותרבץ תחת בלעם, ויחר אף בלעם, ויח את האתון במקל, ויפתח אדוני את פי האתון, ותאמר לבלעם, מה עשיתי לך? כי הכיתני זה 3 רגלים. ויאמר בלעם לאתון, כי התיללת בי. לו יש חרב בידו, כי אתה הרגתיך. ותאמר האתון אל בלעם, הלא אנוכי אתונך אשר רכבת עלי מאודך עד היום הזה, הסכמתי לעשות לך כל. ויאמר לא. ויגל אדוני את עיני בלעם, וירא את מלאך אדוני ניצב בדרך, וחרבו שלופה בידו, ויקוד וישתחוו לאפיו. ויאמר אליו מלאך אדוני, על מה הכיתה את אתונתך, זה 3 רגלים. הנה, אנוכי יצאתי לשטן, כי ירד הדרך לנגדי. ותראני האתון, וצץ לפני, זה 3 רגלים. ואולי נצאת מפני, כי אתה גם אתכם הרגתי, ואותה החייתי. ויאמר בלעם אל מלאך אדוני, חטאתי כי לא ידעתי, כי אתה ניצב לקראתי בדרך, ועתה, אם רע בעיניך אשובה לי. ויאמר מלאך אדוני אל בלעם, לך עם האנשים, ואפס את דבר אשר אדבר אליך אותו תדבר. וילך בלעם מסרב והלך. So I'll translate now. And just find where we began. And Balaam set out in the morning, and he straddled his donkey, and he went with the servants, with the officers of Moab. And this angered God, for he went and stationed, for he was going. And God stationed an angel of God in the road to accuse him. And he, Balaam, was riding along on his donkey with 2 servants with him. And the donkey saw the angel of God stationed in the road with a sword in its hand. And the donkey went off of the path and went into the field. Balaam hit the donkey to get it back onto the path. And the angel of God stood in a space between 2 vineyards where there was a fence on both sides. And the donkey saw the angel of God, and the donkey pushed up against the side of the wall, and the donkey smashed in Balaam's foot against the wall. And Balaam continued to hit the donkey, and the angel continued to stand in his way. And he stood in a very narrow place where there was nowhere to go, neither left nor right. And the donkey saw the angel of God and sat down underneath Balaam. And this made Balaam even angrier, and he hit the donkey again with his staff. Then God opened up the mouth of the donkey, and the donkey said to Balaam, "What have I done to you, that you've hit me these 3 times? And Balaam said to the donkey, "You've embarrassed me. If I had a sword in my hand, I would kill you." And the donkey said to Balaam, "Am I not the donkey that you have ridden on for a long time, right up until this day? Have you ever seen me behave like this?" And Balaam said, "No." And God opened up the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of God stationed in the road with a sword in its hand. And Balaam realized his mistake, and he fell with his face to the floor. And the angel said to him, "For what reason have you hit this donkey 3 times? Behold, I have been sent to accuse you, for you go against the ways of God." And the donkey saw me and tried to take you away from me these 3 times. Perhaps because of what you've done and what the donkey has done, I should kill you and leave the donkey to live. And Balaam said to the angel of God, "I have sinned, for I did not understand. For you were standing in front of me in the road. And now, if what I am doing is bad in your eyes, I will return myself." But the angel of God said to Balaam, "Go with these men, and don't tell them anything that I've said to you." And Balaam went with the servants of Balak.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'hayei olam l'tah b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai Notei HaTorah.
Baruch Shatan Torah, Le'amo Yisrael, B'kedushato.
Our Haftarah today is from Micah and will be read.
So, the book of Micah, perhaps you will, one of the 12 so-called minor prophets. He was a contemporary of Isaiah, Amos and Hosea, and he flourished in the period from approximately 730 to 690 BCE. Obviously very, very troubling times in the history of the kingdoms of Israel and Judah. Among other of his prophecies, he prophesied the destruction of Jerusalem by Nebuchadnezzar, also the destruction and future restoration of the Judean state, and he rebuked the people of Judea very, very strongly for dishonesty and idolatry. And interestingly, you've already heard part of this Haftorah passage today on the second page of our service, a very, very well-known prayer, beginning with the words, "With what shall I approach the Lord? Do homage to God on high," which is a very, very much quoted passage. I shall be reading from chapter 5, verse 6 to chapter 6, verse 8. It's in the JPSA Tanakh on page 1049 and in the Sonchino Chumash on page 929. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher בחר פנימיים טובים ורצה בדבריהם הנאמרים באמת. Baruch atah Adonai, הבוחר בתורה, ובמשה עבדו ובישראל עמו, ובנביאי האמת והצדק. The remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of the many peoples, like dew from the Lord, like droplets on grass, which do not look to any man nor place their hope in mortals. The remnant of Jacob shall be among the nations in the midst of many peoples, like a lion amongst beasts of the field, like a fierce lion among flocks of sheep, which tramples wherever it goes, and rends with none to deliver. Your hand shall prevail over your foes, and all your enemies shall be cut down. In that day, declares the Lord, I will destroy the horses in your midst and wreck your chariots. I will destroy the cities of your land and demolish all your fortresses. I will destroy the sorcery you practice, and you shall have no more soothsayers. I will destroy your idols and the sacred pillars in your midst, and no more shall you bow down to the work of your hands. I will tear down the sacred posts in your midst and destroy your cities. In anger and wrath will I wreak retribution on the nations that have not obeyed. Hear what the Lord is saying. Come, present thy case before the mountains, and let the hills hear you pleading. Hear, you mountains, the case of the Lord, you firm foundations of the earth. For the Lord has a case against his people. He has a suit against Israel. My people, what wrong have I done you? What hardship have I caused you? Testify against me. In fact, I brought you up from the land of Egypt. I redeemed you from the house of bondage, and I sent before you Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. My people, remember what Balak, king of Moab, plotted against you, and how Balaam, son of Beor, responded to him. Recall your passage from Shittim to Gilgal, and you will recognize the gracious acts of the Lord. With what shall I approach the Lord? Do homage to him on high. Shall I approach him with burnt offerings, with calves a year old? Would the Lord be pleased with thousands of rams, with myriads of streams of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for my sins? He has told you, O man, what is good, and what the Lord requires of you, only to do justice, and to love goodness, and to walk modestly with your God. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, tzur kol haolam min tzadik v'kol hadorot, ha'el ha'ne'emon ha'omer v'oseh ha'medaber u'mekayem, shekol devarav emet v'tzedek. Al ha'torah v'al ha'avodah v'al ha'nevi'im v'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh, שנתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו לקדושה ולמנוחה לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך. יתברך לפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבחה.
Amen. And since I'm aware of time, we'll skip ahead to page 486. Please stand. יהללו את שם אדוני, כי נשגב שמו לבדו. Page 488, we will read responsibly. God's teaching is perfect,
reviving your soul,
God's word is unfailing,
making wise the simple,
God's precepts are right,
enlightening the mind,
God's commandments are clear,
enlightening the eyes,
God's doctrine is pure,
enduring forever,
God's guidance is true.
and altogether just.
Please take your seats. I asked Joseph, the music director if I should go for a fun sermon or a serious one. And he said fun, so I hope you don't mind. J.K. Rowling has lost the plot. Although considered a national treasure by most, recently her most committed fans have turned on her. They feel that she's lost control of her own narrative and left grave inconsistencies in her folklore. I grew up reading the Harry Potter books. That young wizard started at Hogwarts around the same time that I started secondary school, and finished around the same time that I finished. His stories were such an important part of my teenage years. I began to suspect, however, that J.K. Rowling might struggle to live up to the hype when I saw how tightly she wanted to control her own stories. Fan fiction writers, she said, were all making grave errors. Other books published set in the same universe could not be trusted. Only she knew the true nature of what went on in the wizarding world. The most intriguing case of her guarding these stories came when a fan asked her whether there were any Jews at Hogwarts. In 2014, she responded on Twitter with the name of one such student, Anthony Goldstein, Ravenclaw, Jewish wizard. She followed up with a clarification. Anthony isn't the first Jewish student, nor is he the only one. I just have reasons for knowing the most about him. I was, of course, deeply interested in this Hogwarts student. As an avid reader, I wanted to know more about him. But as J.K. Rowling had made clear, I could not even imagine. Only she knew what happened to this character. I just had to wonder what her reasons were for knowing most about him. Did she teach him English at primary school, then wistfully say goodbye to him as he left for a secret school elsewhere? Did she meet him as a young adult and have a summer-long affair with him on the Costa del Sol before they tragically had to part ways as he realised their worlds were not compatible? I could only imagine. Only J.K. knew. In recent months, however, her fans have begun to doubt whether J.K. Rowling really knew everything in the wizarding world. They began to lose faith in her when she informed them that Harry Potter had voted to remain in the EU referendum, and that Dumbledore was a strong supporter of Israel. But the real clincher came in the recent film of Fantastic Beasts, when she inserted a character who, according to the legends she had established, was not yet born. In the same film, Wizard used spells in ways that contradicted her existing narrative. Personally, I'm just not that bothered about these inconsistencies. I think that what J.K. Rowling and her superfans really need is an introduction to the great Jewish craft of Midrash. Midrash is the ultimate form of fan fiction. When you read a book as often as we read the Torah, you have to come up with new stories. Sometimes those stories fill in gaps. Sometimes they provide moral instruction or theological meaning. But more than anything, Midrash just makes a good story even better. It doesn't matter whether the story is contradictory, or whether the timelines don't add up, or whether impossible things happen. What matters is that you tell a good story. So this week's parasha is a perfect example of great storytelling and lends itself so well to Midrash. In it, the Moabite king Balak calls on the great prophet Balaam to go out and curse the Israelites. The Moabites think that if Moses can do such great things as he's done with words, a soothsayer will be able to destroy the Israelites with words. Balaam initially declines, but the king is insistent. Balaam straddles his donkey and heads out. Suddenly, in the middle of the road, an angel of God appears before Balaam and stops his donkey in her tracks. Balaam can't see the angel, but the donkey can. The donkey stays firmly rooted to the spot, so Balaam hits the donkey. The donkey squeezes in against the wall, crushing Bilam's foot. So he hits her again. She lies down on the ground. He hits her again. The donkey opens up her mouth and tells off Bilam for being so rude. What have I done to you to beat me these 3 times? I'm the donkey you've been riding all along until this day. Is this how I normally behave? Suddenly, God opens Bilam's eyes to the angel standing in front of him, and Bilam realizes that he has made several big mistakes. As you can imagine, the rabbis had a whale of a time with this story. They told tales of the sorcery of Balak and Bilam. They invented complicated genealogies for all the characters. They elaborated on every part. But to my mind, the best bit is what they do with the donkey. This talking donkey, they say, was not just any old animal, otherwise we would all be able to have conversations with our pets, but was miraculously made on the 6th day of creation. The donkey had once been owned by Adam, later by Jacob, and then passed on by Pharaoh to the Moabites. Pharaoh stole it off of Joseph when he moved to Egypt. If you were concerned about donkeys being able to see angels, don't worry. The rabbis reassure us. All animals can see greater things than we can, but God forbids them from talking, otherwise they would embarrass us. And embarrass Bilam is exactly what his donkey did, over and over again. The Midrash fleshes out the conversation between Bilam and his donkey, standing in that ravine. Bilam shouts at the donkey, "You made a mockery of me. If I had a sword with me, I'd kill you." The donkey replies, "You couldn't even kill me with a sword in your hand. How do you expect to go and kill an entire nation with just your mouth?" To hammer the point home, the rabbis let us know that the donkey spoke much better Hebrew than Bilam. The donkey, like all animals, spoke biblical Hebrew as her first language, whereas Bilam spoke it in translation. The donkey went on to embarrass Bilam in front of all the elders of Moab. These officials asked him, "Why did a great prophet like you come on a donkey and not on a horse?" Bilam tried to inflate himself, saying, "I have a fancy saddle horse, but it's in the pasture, so I decided to bring my donkey, which I usually use for travelling." The donkey interrupted him. "That's not true. You've ridden me all your life, and you treat me with as much affection as a man treats his wife." The elders of Moab burst out laughing at Bilam. To close the Midrash, to make it all right for everyone, God kills the donkey in case she embarrasses Bilam anymore. I love this story. For Orthodox Jews, this great comedic tale came with the whole of the Torah as an oral tradition from Moses at Sinai. For academic students of rabbinic literature, we should look at this for what moral instruction or political meaning it adds to the story. If we are honest with ourselves, these stories probably are not as old as Moses and don't really add that much. They're just good stories. It's just fun. Midrash doesn't need to make sense or fit neatly into a particular box. For me, that's what really gives it life. By experimenting with creative retellings like this, the original story itself is boosted. Out of one great story, a whole new world is created, in which even more things are made possible. If Midrash teaches us anything about storytelling, it's that a story only really takes hold when you completely lose the plot. Shabbat Shalom. We'll turn now to Elenu on page 520. Please stand.
Oh
יוסד הארץ, ומשה וקורו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרמים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשיבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ, מתחת אין עוד.
We wait in you, eternal God. We hope soon to behold the glory of your might, when false gods will vanish from our hearts, and idolatry cease forever. Help us to perfect the world by bringing it under your unchallenged rule, when all will invoke your name, relinquish evil, and turn to you alone. May all who dwell on earth come to know that to you every knee must bend and every tongue swear loyalty. Before you let them humble themselves, and to your glorious name let them give honor. Let all submit to your sovereign rule. May that time come soon and last forever. For ultimate sovereignty is yours, and to all eternity you will reign in glory. As it is written, the Eternal One shall reign forever.
Life is like a candle. It burns, it blows, it is radiant with warmth and beauty. Then it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. Yet we do not despair, for we know that we are more than a flickering flame. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and light, of death and life. As in our hearts we name our loved ones. We pray the divine presence will comfort us and all who mourn. This week we remember especially Sidney Ash, father of Janet Jewelson, Gertrude Bellman, mother of Andrea Gohill, and Golda Hunt, mother of Anna Hunt. If there are any other names you would like to share, please say them now out loud or in your heart. We'll read together on page 524.
Yitgadal v'yitgash she'erba, Yomad v'yirach v'yitei yamit machutei, V'chayechon v'yomechon, V'chayet kol beit Yisrael, V'adav zman karim v'yiru amen, Yehei shmei Rabam v'rach le'olam nomei amaya, Yitbarach v'yishamach v'yipa'al v'yitvam v'yinasei, V'yitadam v'yitadel v'zal shmei v'yishad v'yichu, Le'elam v'yikov v'yata v'shirata, Tushkata v'nikamata, V'karon Roman v'yiru amen, Yehei shamar Rabam Yishamayim, V'chaim le'legel kol Yisrael, v'yiru amen. Osei shalom v'yirubah, v'yaseh shalom, Aleinu gel kol Yisrael, v'kol b'nei Adam, v'yiru amen.
Please be seated.
Thank you.
Des, are there any other community announcements?
Yes, just next week. There's no rush because they've just literally finished Haftarah. So it could be a long one. They're probably at least 15 minutes, if not 20 from finishing. So yeah, we can celebrate up here. Just to let you know that next Friday night is the joint service, the reform service downstairs. So anyone with the art site, the art site name will be mentioned downstairs. And secondly, next Shabbat we have the return of Rabbi Nathan Godwin. So that's something we can all look forward to. Apart from that, I don't have anything else. Does anybody else?
I think we need to thank Lev.
Well, he did ask for community announcements. But you're quite right. That one escaped me. So, thank you. Well, you said that you talk a lot, especially as a child. You were told to shut up, and you found exactly the right occupation to do. So, we look forward to you coming back. Thank you very much. You're very, very informative and entertaining about Bilam and Balak and the Ass and the whole thing, and Midrash, which I didn't know Midrash. Thank you.
I was worried that we'd taken too long. I was worried that we were going to be there first.
We'll never know what time we're going to finish.
Fair
It's
enough.
supposed to be 12:30.
Yeah. Depends whether Kathleen's more worded than yes.
Well, the final blessing now. מי ששיכן את שמו בבית הזה, הוא ישכין בביניכם אחווה ושלום ורעות. May the one whose presence dwells in this house cause love and harmony, peace and friendship to dwell among you. Shabbat Shalom.
Can I ask you, how come the donkey was female?
She's female in the Torah. In the Torah, she's female. Yeah. In fact, it's one of the few examples where you have all the female descendants with the
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I thought you were just doing it out of generosity.
No, she is female in the Torah.
Thank you very much.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you very much indeed.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'll wait downstairs.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'll tell them I'm coming. Hello, Janet. How are you?
Yes.
You're going to have a one notation on the radar.
Oh, yes.
Is that what they call it?
It was, yes. Yeah, she's had
I'm wondering.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. No, she's had it for years, so she's very nice.
Thank you very much indeed.
Just, unfortunately, it's one of those. She's insecure.
That's your
Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah, they're fine. Carry on, as they say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
I did go last year, yes. I was doing something
Yeah. How's Julian and his family getting on? I see pictures of him on Facebook.
Yeah, his eldest one's 4.5. The youngest one will be 1 next year.
Wow.
Next month. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Daniel told me all about Miriam and
Oh, yes, we're both at home at the moment.
what the rest?
So this year, next year, yeah. So this year, yeah.
Can we be the weather?
Yes, I thought you were.
Yeah, I know, but it's not a start.
Yeah.
He's learning, isn't he? He helped us to do the setting out and everything. I don't want to keep myself
Yeah, exactly.
Shall I take the book?
Sorry, there's mine.
Lev, I wanted to say thank you so much for a fabulous service, your enthusiasm, your knowledge. You know, this is the fantastic again. It's like at the end of the fifth.
I do love coming here. You're such a friendly. You know, we talk about, obviously, the student rabbis will talk about you. Everybody loves
You do?
Harrow. You're such nice
So
people.
it's good things, is it?
Yes, yeah.
We've not had a rabbi.
Yes, you really do. You
I
really.
wanted to say, I love the way you read the Torah portion because I always was given to understand, you know, you have to read it straight. But I love the way you gave the voices because once there was an occasion when I could have learned, you know, the part of the beginning of Genesis where the snake is talking to Eve, and I was telling Rita about this, and I said I could add a hiss or two.
You're meant to,
She
because
was shocked.
it's the hush, like, it's really hard. Yeah.
Well, that was Rita.
Eddie read it, but you know, she said, you're not supposed to make a drama out of it. I thought, well, it is
That's
dramatic.
You're absolutely supposed
Exactly.
to make drama out of it.
Yeah.
In fact, in some conservatives, in Amichai Lau's synagogue in New York, which is a conservative synagogue, he gets congregants to dress up and act out the Torah portion that he's reading.
Well,
so
that's
he,
very nice.
so he'd have had this
I
week.
don't know what they're going to do in Leviticus.
Well, the fruits and stuff like that, so they'll hand out bits of whatever the spices are and get people physically immersed in
So
what's going on.
they don't bring rams and
I mean, they're conservative, who knows? I wouldn't put it past them.
It's nice that you asked Joseph about whether it should be serious or funny, because obviously you can do so much with that particular parasha. I mean, it really is fabulous, and I love the topic. You know, do you know the American book about 54 chapters written by American women rabbis as commentaries on the Torah portion?
The Women's Torah commentary.
That's the one.
Yes.
I have a copy of it, and I read the on Balak, and of course they make a big thing about it is a female book. It's quite
Yes.
clear. It's an ad. She asked, and she said, "Why do you think you haven't been, you know, good for you all these years?" And he had to admit that he was in the way. And of course they make a big thing about it. Why don't more women speak up when they are badly treated?
I mean, something that came across to me the first time in this portion, which is the anti-sorcery part of it.
That's another
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, which had never occurred to me before. So, and then again, so not to beat. So there's the obvious thing is don't beat your animals and don't beat your wife as well.
Well, exactly, but don't act cruelly. Then you have to spoil it by saying that God killed Leah so that she couldn't embarrass anybody anymore. I thought, some people shall go need
Yes,
embarrassment.
yeah.
But it's a wonderful story, and there's one thing about Midrash. I'm going to a series of 5 classes at Edgware and Henley Reform.
Lovely.
Rabbi Neil is
Oh,
talking about.
good.
He said there's two kinds. There's the halachic midrash and there's the agadic midrash. One is law, one is story. And I love the stories because you can make such interesting things out of it. And the tradition, as I understand it, is that everybody's point of view has to be listened to. So the wilder you get, the better in us.
Yes, yeah.
So long as there's a toe on the ground, you know, some connection with abortion. But it was real fun this morning.
It was great. Thank you so very
Thank
much.
you.
Back to
Thank
And
you.
it's so nice to have, we haven't had since Charles Milliborough, a rabbi that will translate from the scroll.
Really?
I thought you were
Are you
doing
sure?
that.
I'm sure that one or two.
No, I don't.
Does it Nathan? Oh, Nathan
Done it line
Lanes.
by line. Sometimes they do it line by line rather than the whole thing.
See, Charles told me to stop translating line by line because it confuses people, and
Oh,
to
really?
read. He taught me to read it like
That's
that.
interesting.
Yeah.
No, it was lovely. It was really great. Very enthusiastic and enlivening.
You will be asked again, don't you?
I was going
Good.
to say the
Good.
reward
Please
for doing
do.
something well is
Yeah.
to be honest.
Oh, don't forget the fee.